Okay, so today we have a very renowned intellectual, Mr. Dr. Nazmul Kalimullah. He was the vice chancellor at uh, Begum Rokia University. Is that correct, sir? Okay.
Rampur, yes, yes, right.
Yes, yes, yes. And I
Right.
bel
At the moment, I'm a grade one professor of Dhaka University.
okay, okay. And I believe you also taught public administration in Dhaka University.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, okay. Yeah, perfect. And I believe you also lived in the UK and the US like, for a couple of years. I
That's
was
right.
just
That's
reading your
right.
background. And
I,
you
I,
had,
I lived in the UK for 6 years,
mhm.
and I also undergone two fellowships. One with the Advocacy Institute in Washington D.C., another with uh, Ohio State Legislature, which is known as a legislative fellowship. Yes.
Okay, okay. So, yeah, the reason I wanted to bring you here is because, I have taken a huge interest towards Bangladeshi politics ever since I visited last year in August. So, the previous uh, government, it fell right under my eyes. And I remember me and you having some conversation about it. And, right during that time, I was very angry at the government, shooting unarmed students. And yeah, I was thinking that's a massive violation of human rights and, they need to go. So that's what I was thinking. I had huge hopes under the Nobel laureate Professor Yunus and his administration. Uh, you know, there were huge aspirations for this government. And ever since he took over, I have been following him for the last 10 months. And as someone who majored in politics and international relations, I just think it's not really satisfactory at this point. We have seen some events at Gopalganj, 2 days ago. But yeah, the first question I had for you is, you know, we have seen that it's been over 10 months since the interim regime took place, and he, he has also encouraged the young students like Nahid Islam, Sarjis Alam to like form a political party, which is called the NCP. My first question for you is: do you think, if the quota um, movement was rather some sort of an excuse to topple the last fascist regime that they say. What are your inputs on that? So we have seen a pattern of this, like in my analysis, that back in 2012 we have seen the Arab Spring Revolution in Egypt. We have seen that in Tunisia, uh, and people had high hopes once those governments fell over. And right now, obviously, those Middle Eastern countries, they haven't they haven't seen any sign of democracy yet. So, do you see a similar pattern with the Arab Spring?
Well, I had the opportunity to visit Tahrir Square
Yeah.
in Cairo,
Hmm.
and also I've been to other parts of the Arab world
Right.
too. What happened in Bangladesh was actually regime change,
Hmm.
and that was orchestrated and engineered uh, with the, I would say, coalition of international and local forces. You see, and it was inevitable. I was warning the local populace for more than 3.5 years, and I predicted that the government, which was formed on the basis of 7th January 2024 elections,
Hmm.
that means 12 parliament elections, it will not last long.
Yes.
You know, in case of Pakistan, Imran Khan named the uh, person, Donald Lu,
Donald Lu.
who
Yeah.
was in charge of bringing the change. in Bangladesh, the same gentleman, he visited a couple of times, and in his last sojourn, he uh, only met young people.
Young people. Okay.
Not, that's right, not politicians or senior citizens. And eventually, we found that it took only 36 days.
Yeah.
My student, Abu Said,
Yes.
he
You mentioned.
is the iconic character. I got himself admitted into the Begum Rokeya University, Rangpur, when I was the fourth vice chancellor. And I was the first person who protested after his death and gave condolence. No. So, you know, he his death acted as the spark, and that was almost like wildfire. You mentioned about Kota movement.
Yeah.
After his uh, martyrdom, Kota movement turned into one point movement, that is oust Hasina,
Yes. Yes.
and
Correct.
that became successful. You see, another student of mine from another institution where I worked as pro vice chancellor, BUP, Bangladesh University of
Right.
Professionals.
Yeah.
His name is Mugdha. He has become an iconic character too. Coincidentally, I own both of them in that sense of the term because I worked in both the institutions where they studied. And to me, it was a game plan of a large canvas. And Professor Yunus is the beneficiary, you see. He had many personal scores to sort of meet and axe to grind.
Hmm.
He was in sullen mood, so he had to wait for the retribution.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
he arrived from France to take charge of the government. For 3 days, from 5th of August till 8th of August, there was no government in the country, you know. And after returning from Paris, he gave indemnity for that period. And Volker took the report, human rights report, that comprised this period till 15th August
Hmm.
of last year.
Yeah.
So that actually comprised of Professor Yunus's rule as well as Sheikh Hasina's rule and the rule of His Excellency the President for 3 days, in that sense of that, because he was the only legitimate uh, uh, person who was in the helm of affairs, because there was no head of government. And in the process, the student leaders, they requested Professor Yunus to take over, and he complied with. And since then, he started behaving as if the leaders, student leaders, are his employers.
Yeah.
So inducted three of them in the cabinet too. He picked up his confidants,
Hmm.
in the administration, and also some of the names were put forward by the armed forces.
Yeah.
And eventually, the government was formed. And we found that mob violence became the norm of the day,
Exactly.
you
Yes.
see.
Yes.
And in the days of Jamor, who was from Chittagong and who took part in the French Revolution in France. You know, he was raised in uh, Louvre, the Louis Palace in uh, Versailles. In those days, Bengal was known as Mogir Mulluk,
Yeah,
the
I've heard the
dacoits
term. Yeah.
who used to inflict injustice on the local population. That was translated into English. Mog became mob,
Hmm.
and mob violence became the norm of the day, and it's still continuing. What happened in Gopalganj is basically an offshoot of that. The newly formed unregistered party, oh, they applied for registration, that sense of the term. NCP uh, leaders, top brass, they went to Gopalganj uh, like tigers. And we found they fled Gopalganj like kittens, small little kittens. So, in that sense of the term, that projected the sad demise of their political structure.
Yeah,
Its
reports.
face looks, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
and today they were sort of encountered by the largest political party activists, i.e., BNP, and you know the sailing cannot be termed as smooth. It's rough riding,
Mhm.
and country is slowly and surely drifting into a conflict zone. Lately, yesterday, UN decided to sort of establish human rights office in Dhaka, and Dhaka became the 17th host country. And all the earlier 16 host countries are more or less conflict prone areas.
Yeah,
And also, we found that election has become kind of chimera. You know, we are talking about election, but it's not going to be held in near future, I believe, because the country situation is not conducive for conduction of election. If you try to come up with a 13th parliament election, it will be a bloodbath,
yes,
you
sir.
know.
Yeah.
And the police, the morale of the police is gone.
Hmm.
Military, knowingly, unknowingly, sort of after the Gopalganj incident, may not be respected and acceptable by people at large in future. You
Absolutely. Yeah.
see, because
Yeah.
a segment of the population lost their, I would say, love for them.
Hmm.
And that will be used as a pretext for induction of UN forces with blue helmet to conduct the election in future. So that's a long run process. And in these days of shoestring budget for UN, we might end up finding that Indian soldiers with blue helmet entering into Bangladesh
Yeah.
uh, easily,
Uh,
and that might create another sensitivity and situation. In the old days, we found that UN conducted election in conflict-ridden Cambodia and in the Democratic Republic of
co-
Timor-Leste, which used to be known as East Timor.
yes. Yes.
I had the opportunity to go and observe elections as a long-term observer in five districts, and also the enclave named Ikusi in Timor.
Yeah. Sir, I had a question. So, you have been a professor, and, so I have interacted with my parents and everyone from the 1970s, and I see
Yeah.
a huge difference in like personality, like the students from, let's say, the 1970s and right now. And, you know, with how the student leaders are behaving, um, do you think, at some point these people were perhaps radicalized and, perhaps we were not understanding that? And, you have been a professor, so have you noticed like a shift in pattern? Because right now, what I'm seeing is I mean, the youth of Bangladesh, they tend to reject terms like secularism. They think that's a very, bad thing, which is not, you know. Have you noticed like a noticeable pattern among our youth that, during the 1970s, on average, people, they were impoverished, but it was a relatively secular society. That's based on I was watching a documentary like, Khalid Musharraf's Men, and I've seen a lot of, the youth freedom fighters, speaking. And they were largely very secular and very, liberal, and they had a picture of a country which was, secular, and everyone, regardless of their religious beliefs, had the chance to like practice. So how did this shift exactly happen from, the transformation from secularism to like this radicalism that we have been seeing right now?
Well, the catalytic role was played by Hizb ut-Tahrir,
Hmm.
the movement which emanated from Jerusalem. It was exported to the UK, and from there, through an INGO, it was injected in Bangladesh, and now it is a fast-moving, developing movement. Uh, and they don't believe in the statecraft.
Yeah,
They believe in establishing Khilafat. They believe the whole world should be under Khilafat, and they want to come to power through coup d'etat, armed forces. They don't believe in democracy. They don't want to waste time with reference to elections and things like that.
yeah, yeah. And when I see someone like Professor Yunus, the last thing you'll think about him is a religious extremist, And, for the last 10 months, we have been seeing that he has been patronizing radical Islam. So, uh, do you think is he like some kind of external pressure, or, these are his thoughts? Okay, this is the way it should be. So, because someone like him, you don't really think that, okay, this person is a a radical or an extremist. So what's your view on that? Like, why is he
Well,
patronizing extremism?
he was maltreated by the previous regime,
Hmm.
I believe, and
Yeah,
he's here to uh, with vendetta. He want to sort of take revenge, and he lived in the United States of America for 8 years in
exactly. Yeah.
Vanderbilt and Tennessee, and in 1970 he married ethnic Russian American woman named Vera.
Hmm.
And Vera persuaded him to adopt her denomination,
Okay.
Orthodox denomination. So he left his ancestral religion, like Jomor, and became uh, a believer of Jesus. And after assumption of power here, he took part in two Islamic congregations called Idul Fitr, Idul Adha
Right. Yes.
prayers. And in Idul Fitr prayer, he tried to sort of attend in a churchian style, like he had a glass of water, table, uh, up, chair, the way people pray in the church. He tried that, and because of non-practice, he sort of made mistakes, and that was noticed by people at large. And later on, it became a matter of discussion. Uh, Sheikh Hasina, the former prime minister, she sort of commented, uh, and it was followed by JP, Jatiya Party leader, Mr. Lincoln, and eventually BNP vice chairman, Mr. Barkatullah Vulu, also took part in this uh, issue
Right.
and commented.
Hmm.
And he also entrusted the responsibility of bringing him back to Islam. And he sort of asked the Amir of Jamaat Islami to come up with a solution to this. You see.
Do you see any, like, links between Professor Muhammad Yunus and, let's say, Israeli Zionist organizations? Because there was a picture which surfaced that I think in New York, he was shaking hands with a rabbi, a Jewish rabbi. So obviously, I don't really know if he has any connections or links with these people. So what is your take on that, actually?
I believe that Professor Yunus is not
Semitic.
anti-Semitic,
Yeah.
you see. Uh, and during his tenure, Bangladesh and the UN abstained
Hmm.
from voting against Israel,
Okay.
which is
Okay.
which happened for the first time in the history of
Yeah.
Bangladesh. You see,
And also my next question is, so, the events that took place in Gopalganj, do you think it was rather a distraction from the 35% tariff that the US just, slapped towards Bangladesh? And reports suggest that they did have, so the authorities from Bangladesh and the authorities from the US, they had some sort of a meeting regarding negotiating this tariff. And I think one of Yunus's, I think,
advisors,
yeah, yeah, him, he
Commerce
came,
advisor, Mr.
the
Bashir.
commerce advisor, yes, the commerce advisor, he came back to Bangladesh and he said that there were some, parts from the tariff that he cannot disclose, and he signed like a
Yeah,
non-disclosure
non-disclosure
disclosure agreement.
clause.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, what is there so much to hide? What do you think?
Well, one of the National Board of Revenue officials was sacked because the protocol was leaked. You see, so in a country like Bangladesh, you cannot hide anything.
Hmm.
It's difficult. People are nosy.
Yeah, exactly. And my last question for you is, we have, we have seen that visitors and tourists, they have not been allowed to have access in Saint Martin's Island,
Yeah,
and the government is saying that there's some environmental work going on in the region, and which sounds very, I don't know, strange. I mean, and also we have seen that the former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, that she made claims that that if she was willing to, like, give away Saint Martin to an unnamed country, she could have remained in power. So I mean, why can't Bangladeshis have access to their own region for 9 months? Like, what do you think is going on?
it's really fishy, number one.
Yeah,
And I would like to bring your attention to the plight of the
Rohingyas. Yeah.
dogs,
Okay.
the,
Dodge. Okay.
the dogs who live in that island,
Okay.
to the tune of, I'd say, 2,000 of them.
Hmm.
All these doggies, they were forced to be vasectomized by
Hmm.
the government authorities, which is, I think, not a very kind gesture.
Which, this
And
government or the previous one?
yeah, by this
By
government,
this
Yunus
government. Okay.
government,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
It never happened anywhere in Bangladesh before. And if the animal rights activists know about it, they will create hue and cry all over the world. So, Professor Yunus's government can go to any length, insensitive and also uh, ready to come up with any deal. Russia.
Is that coming from your end, I think? Or
Yes, right.
oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
All right. Um,
So
yeah,
that's
go
it.
ahead. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much all the questions I had for you. And, I wanted to like get some clarity regarding the situation from the past 11, 10 or 11 months. And what are your, um, this is a very simple question. So, what are your suggestions for anyone who wants to visit Bangladesh right now? Like, what kind of safety measures they should exercise in the country?
Well, law and order situation is not up to the mark.
Hmm.
Personal safety may be at stake.
Yeah,
So I would recommend to be very cautious. And if it is not absolutely necessary,
yeah.
don't venture out.
Okay. And also, maybe this might be a little sensitive question. So let's say someone living abroad, they had links with the prior political party, maybe family connections or any kind of, connections. And we have seen Professor Yunus, he was stating in one of the interviews that we will come after the entire clan, which is, a very scary phrase to say. Like this is a classic example of fear mongering.
Almost like an utterance by a Nazi.
Yeah, yeah, we'll come
Say.
after the entire clan. This is not something you would expect from a Nobel laureate. uh,
It's true. It's true.
so
You're
I
absolutely
guess I
right.
guess your suggestion is anyone who had, relationships or friendships with the prior regime, they're not welcome into the
That's right.
country.
That's right.
Yes,
Yes. Not at the moment.
not at the moment. Okay.
You'll have to wait for the next regime to assume
Yeah,
the
yeah,
responsibility of running the country, not before then.
yeah, yeah. Well, thank you again, sir.
Thank you.
I have my day job, so I have to go back to it, and I guess you are
Please,
busy as well.
please share the link with me
Yeah.
before you share with else people at large. Okay.
Okay. Absolutely, sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Take care. Ciao.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.
Thanks. Bye.
Yes.